history, we discuss giants, ancient monsters that are still very well known in our society today.
Wait, so you're telling me that giants aren't just like fake stories, like they actually existed in history and they like date back hundreds of years? Because like I just thought there was the BFG and they live on an island in England and drink fart juice.
Anyways, I'm Destiny, this is Victoria, and let's get into it. The history of giants is very debatable.
Debatable. So they aren't just like big creatures, like there's more to them than just that?
Well, yes and no. We'll get into the fairy tales about all those and later on. Giants are mentioned in almost all mythologies and religions in some sort of way.
So, like the Bible?
Exactly. The story of David and Goliath is one of the most well-known stories in religions. But did you know that Goliath was the smallest giant in the Bible? There are like giant clans all throughout it.
So there's like a bunch of like these big groups of super tall people? Or super big people, I guess?
Yeah, giant clans. There are Anakims, Amorites, and Raphaelims.
So that's a lot. Like, oh my.
Oh my is right. These things are something to be feared.
So you said they're mentioned in like a lot of mythologies and religions. So like what other ones are there?
They're mentioned in Armenian, Baltic, Basque, Bulgarian, Greek, Hindu, Jain, and Norse mythologies and religions, as well as like several European and Native American mythologies.
Were they all like basically the same thing?
Again, yes and no. There are several different ways that cultures view them, but like they also have a lot of similarities between the different ones.
So like what?
While Bulgarian, Armenian, Jain, and Norse cultures and religions believe that humans are descendants of giants.
Oh, so that's why I'm super tall.
Yeah, so definitely. Anyways, almost all religions and cultures establish some sort of relation between the giants and the gods. For example, like Greece, they were the children of like gods and deities. In Hinduism, they were the children of goddesses and sages. And in Norse mythology, they were opposed to the gods. Like they were like big enemies of them, but at the same time, a lot of gods were very giants.
So like they relate to gods, but like didn't you say something earlier about them relating to nature too?
Oh, yes. Many religions and cultures all around the world like to use them as like reasons and like the creators for many natural formations. Aztec, Greece, Norse, Basque, and many other ones, they use them for like the creations of mountains, stone formation, lakes, and much more. One of my favorite stories about that is like this giantess named Naringa in the Baltic religions. She played so much on the seashore that she created the Coronian spit.
Sounds pretty cool. So like giants are present throughout histories and mythologies to basically create explanations like the Greeks did with like myths and stuff?
Yeah, pretty much. They were just used as like these explanations for all these natural things, but they were also viewed as aggressive and cannibals and really stupid in a lot of them, and cruel. And there are many stories involving giants throughout history and mythologies, including the battle with Hercules from Mount Olympus and the Battle of Ragnarok.
Wait, so like the Battle of Ragnarok in like Thor, right? With like, him murdering all of the people who are attacking?
Not exactly. No. The Battle of Ragnarok is when the giants stormed Asgard and the giants and the gods fought until the entire world was destroyed.
Wow. So, I just thought giants lived on the top of a beanstalk and, fee, fi, fo, fum, smelt the blood of an Englishman and, well, death. So this is interesting.
Well, that is one way that giants are viewed in fairy tales, but that's not the only one. We look at all these more serious views of these giants throughout all these cultures and religions. Now let's look into the land of make-believe. Fairy tales.
So we have like Jack and the Beanstalk, where the kid gets a magic bean, it grows a beanstalk, he climbs up, finds a goose that lays golden eggs, and steals a harp, and then the giant chases him, and he cuts down the beanstalk, and the giant dies. And then there's like the Giant Slayer one, where he basically just goes around killing giants. Basically, they're all about kids named Jack that kill giants.
Yes. And there's like a lot of different stories of the exact same one, but like different ones. Like there's like Mickey Mouse ones and stuff.
Yeah.
And those are the most well-known stories about giants, but there's one more that I learned about when I was researching. It's called The Valiant Little Tailor. And the story is about a human tailor who once killed 7 flies in one blow and had it written on his belt. he encounters a giant who thinks is referring to him, and like he challenges him, but the tailor uses his smarts to beat the giant rather than his strength. He even tricks two giants into fighting each other, and they end up killing each other. But he wins the princess and the kingdom, and we even have our own American giant known as Paul Bunyan.
Yeah, like with the lumberjack, and then do you see him like a big blue ox or something? I don't know, whatever.
Something like that.
Anyway, so like imagine how scary that would be, just walking around and there's like this giant being, like I smell English blood, and then you know being dead or watching like the person you came with getting eaten. That would be scary. But like, so where do all these scary stories come from? Like, I only know of, well, I guess I know more of that, but mainly just the BFG is the most well known. So like, why
Yeah.
are there so many bad
Well,
ones?
the BFG is our perfect example to bring up our next topic: giants in the modern world.
Oh great, so I know all kinds about the giants in the modern world. There's like tons of movies about them, like the BFG, and they have a book too. And then like he's surrounded by evil giants, but he's good, and he meets the queen because he's cool. And then there's like the Jack the Giant Slayer movie where he kills a bunch of giants, like the fairy tale that we all know and stuff.
Yeah, and the BFG is actually one of my favorite stories. I read it when I was small. But, mainly these giants are found in movies, but they don't, actually exist in our real world. There aren't any, like, demigod beings that people worship and they bow down to. Or, like, they don't walk around and, like, terrorize all these people like you see in all the movies.
So, yeah, I don't know of any demigods, do you?
No.
No.
Not personally.
Not that I know of, but mainly I think what we're talking about here when we talk about modern giants is those super tall people, or like those super like buff people who like just look huge next to normal people who aren't like tall or buff.
Yeah, they even set them up in certain ways to make them look even taller.
Yeah, and then there's like, the movies like the Iron Giant, where we have a friendly robot who sacrifices himself for his little human friend.
Yes, but I mean, if we're talking about robots as being giant, would you consider Pacific Rim robot giant things as giants?
Yeah, I mean, they are basically like, so what we see today a lot of the time is representations of them as other things. So not human beings kind of shaped things, but like the robots in Pacific Rim, they aren't human, but they're man-made, and then like the Iron Giant. But there's also like King Kong, who's a giant gorilla, and then Godzilla, who's like a giant monster, and apparently the king of many other giant monsters. Yeah. But like, those are kind of old too. Like, we've been believing in this stuff or making up stories about him since like 1954.
Yeah, there's been like so many King Kong movies, and like there's like the corny old ones.
There's even like one where King Kong fights Godzilla, like, and it's the cheesiest thing. I was looking at pictures, it's insane.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, but that's mainly, just how we've used them. Like, giants aren't really like humanoid beings. Like, they're like other creatures who are made huge to attack people and destroy all these cities and movies.
Yeah, and like mainly we just have those monstery kind of things, but we also have like an obsession with giant things, like giant food. If you like look up giants or just giant anything, like food will pop up.
Yeah.
Like there's giant chocolate bars, there's giant hamburgers, there's giant sushi rolls, there's giant everything out
Yeah,
there.
and like there's like giant pancake.
Yeah, there's like giants.
Yeah.
And then there's like just really tall people who happen to be taller than short people. And then like when they're next to each other, they look super tall. Like, when the tallest man in the world stands next to the smallest, and then like the camera angle makes it look like he's as big as Big Ben, and he's not though, because that's really tall. Or like this picture I took of my friend with, when we were at the fair, we were just walking past and we saw this gigantic tall person, and we were like, take a picture now. And like, giants in our world today.
Yeah. Well, ultimately, what exactly giants are and their origin, or even like, like all like where all these stories came from, like we'll never exactly know. It will continue to remain a mystery.
Giants.
Tune in next time. Thank you for watching.